On the hi, I'm Eric Halub. I'm running for City Council of Simi Valley. On the signs, as from my perspective, it doesn't seem like a lot of each council member has done their own research on this well enough to, from my point of view, to make an actual decision here. So from that point on, from my elected leaders, I want you guys to know 100% what you're going to say yes to have the signs up. If you do, or say no and know why he can't have those extra signs up. On the whole part of the signs, Barbara has talked about CETA. I agree. I mean, you do not want that here. In the last, 6 years, it's Simi has grown toward that direction with the used cars. With the lot, now that it's there, I want to know why Councilman Lozoika excused himself. From what I know, is that when the Glen was not a part of the water and power thing, because he worked for the company. So is he getting any profit from that, or just I'd like to know.
Well, my understanding, just if I might, is that Councilmember Soika owns a company that does mailer advertising, and I believe that Mr. Clark has advertised with him on occasion, and he's got a conflict. It's the appropriate thing for him to do to step out. Okay,
that's fine. But it is my understanding, though, that he did get $70,000 from taxpayers, right, for the business.
He got money through the redevelopment agency when it was in existence, as did many other businesses on Taft Street.
Okay, well, that is unconstitutional. Still a distribution of wealth, and doesn't have taxation for the rest of the people. But here's the thing: his company is already there. I would like to know that what kind of signs are going to go there, how they look, to know if it will turn out, like a rest of the valley thing. I know that from me sitting down, there is a from what I saw, that a council member, the Glenn Becerra seems to be friends with the used car guy. So I don't know if that's inexcusable too, to have that being a friends on the council compromises what else goes on for the rest of the citizens. From what I can tell from the night, can his signs go up? They could, but from what I've heard, there wasn't any real dialogue of understanding of what it will be or not. If it does become a special thing just for his company, no, that's not okay. You've said it before about a free market, and I really don't know how many other companies have gone the redevelopment money, But I would like to see more transparency of what goes on behind the scenes, and I would like to know what's the real relation here between Lozoika and Glenn and KJ here, because it was like a real strong cheerleader here, for it. And from my point of view, when I have a home and I pay taxes and I can't get to take care of my home, my car, and there's redevelopment going around, and KJ here talked about to buy another business. I mean, hell, I would love to buy one.
Please don't. But no profanity, please.
Oh, excuse me. But can the Americans buy what their own money, and not through taxpayers who have to lose it through a income tax or a sales tax or a property tax. Thank you.
Thank you.
Wait a minute, Mr. Mayor, Mr. Halub, just so you know,
Yes, ma'am.
how you talked about transparency and about how the money was distributed. There were meetings that were held, an application was submitted, staff people looked at it. I sat on that committee, as did some other council member. We reviewed it. We made sure that there was an equal amount of money spent from the owner of the business that was putting in that business.
Yes.
So again, it was very transparent. The meetings were posted. Anybody in the public could come and sit in on those meetings, and I just wanted you to be aware of that.
Okay, great.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Anything else from the council? Everyone up here?
I'd like to make just one comment. There's no conflict for being a friend with people. I think the city attorney would confirm that. Though I have to tell you, there was one time that I did abstain because I was a friend with somebody, and that was Congressman Elton Gallagher, who wanted a lot split up on his property up on the hill. And because he had at times referenced me as his son, and I, said that, he treated me like a dad,
Yeah.
that went beyond, a regular friendship and just, knowing somebody in town because they own a business, or their kids go to school with my kids and we're friends, or I run into them in the grocery store.
Yeah, of
but when
course,
somebody
yes.
references, and,
Not at all.
you don't need to comment on it, but when somebody references that, I stepped off the dais in protection of the congressman and myself, so no one could ever accuse us of that.
Yeah.
But there's a financial conflict, and there's a family conflict. If you're doing something to benefit your family, there's a conflict. If you're doing something because you have a financial, like you said rightly, that when something comes up and it has to do with the Edison company,
Yeah.
I work for Edison, I got to step away. We went so far when there was a benefit to the city where Edison would give money to the city for energy efficiency projects, not the city, not taxpayer money to Edison, but Edison money to the city. We had to have special legislation passed. They called it the Glenn Law up in Sacramento to make sure that we abide by the conflict of interest laws. That's how seriously we take conflicts of interest and being transparent and doing right by the people. So I want you to know, when you say things like you're trying to intimate or hint that there's some kind of wrongdoing going on because Mr. Caloric and I are friends or because we know each other, that is deeply offensive when you've been on this council as long as I have and have obeyed the rules as strictly as I have, to the point of having the state of California, the legislature, and the governor put his signature to a piece of law so that this city could benefit from the company that I work for. So I want you to think about that, because it's really important when you start to throw those things around, how seriously this city takes those rules and those laws. And we went through a very arduous process. You know how hard it is to get a law passed in California, as dysfunctional as the state of California is. And we did that so the taxpayers of this city could benefit. And it's, I want you to know that. As far as redevelopment, I would offer, even though redevelopment is gone now, I would love to have city staff, and I would be happy to sit down with you and explain how the redevelopment process works so that you could see what redevelopment was supposed to be to help clean up blight. I don't know if you remember what that corner where K&J Auto looked like when it had the upholstery store in there,
Yeah.
but it looked more like the Van Nuys, that's out in Van Nuys today than the Simi Valley we want today. K&J cleaned it up to the point where it looks more like the Simi Valley we want today and a lot less like the Van Nuys that's over there in the valley that we're all afraid of. And it's bringing in a lot more tax revenue. That $70,000 that he got from that business now being there, I don't know what it is, Mr. Caloric. I'm sure our staff can give it to you. So maybe city staff can give Mr. Halub the amount of tax dollars that have been generated by that investment that we made on behalf of the citizens of this community with redevelopment funds, how much money has gone back to the city now by increased tax revenue being generated from that business.
Let's move on.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Guys,
Thank you,
remember,
Mr.
I'm Eric
Halub.
Halub. I'm running for city council. Thank you.
Thank you.